world is starting to wake up to all this bullshit. Now, y'all heard what that man said. They be beating this girl up after the whistle, bruh. Beating her up, man. And all y'all want to do is tell us, we casual fans, we don't know basketball. This is a physical sport. Man, ain't no physical sport. It's hate and jealousy, bruh. And they be beating that girl up, man. And the WNBA allow this shit, bruh. But like he said, the world's biggest star. But let me guess. He buck dancing. He glazing. He tap dancing. He a coon. Come on, bruh. The world is starting.
WNBA exposed. The media's gone full security detail for Caitlin Clark. Whistles, helmets, and sirens included. While she's getting knocked into next week and treated like she crashed someone's birthday party, the press is crying injustice louder than a telenovela climax. Cheap shots, petty shade. This isn't just basketball. It's a headline-chasing, elbow-throwing circus with a side of chaos. The drama's thicker than the rule book, and the league's turning into must-see reality TV. Stick around, because what's unfolding in the WNBA will leave you wondering, are we watching hoops or Housewives, courtside edition?
Referees ain't gonna do it. Somebody got to do something, right? But let's head on over to X right now. Pull up this footage, man.
Being fouled. Right in the first quarter, Caitlin Clark obviously being fouled. The refs don't call it.
And it's crazy because let me go back there. Because the referee's literally right there. Like, bro, you're right there.
At some point, folks tossed out the definition of physicality and swapped it with a WWE playbook. What used to be tough basketball has morphed into body slams disguised as defense. Shoulder checks look like hit jobs, and screens feel more like mug shots waiting to happen. There's a massive difference between gritty hoops and straight-up goon tactics. But apparently, that line disappears whenever Caitlin Clark's the target. The memo on fair play didn't just get lost, it got shredded at center court.
Why is this happening? And I went back and I was thinking, the Caitlin Clark phenomenon is one that I got wrong. I never really thought that Caitlin Clark would make the difference that she has in college basketball or in the WNBA. There are, the WNBA opening game for Caitlin Clark set all-time records. There are millions of people that never cared about the WNBA at all that now care because Caitlin Clark is in the W.
Let's rewind for a second. Physicality? Absolutely, bring it. That's the essence of real hoops. It's what filters out the pretenders from the pros. You're supposed to earn every bucket with bruises. Elbows fly, bodies clash. That's the soul of the game. Nobody's begging for a no-contact league with lavender towels and yoga breaks. The problem isn't the physical play. It's when competitive edge turns into WWE audition in aisle 5. There's a difference between tough defense and reckless chaos. And lately, that line's getting stomped on like a loose ball.
I can relate to that young lady. I know what it's like to be hated. I know what it's like to be a black woman and hated because of my skin color. Yeah. I can't imagine this young lady, I don't want to use hate, but despise. And people just having, she brought some on herself a little bit because she's cocky for a good reason.
Mm-hmm. Confident.
And I love that about her. But to watch the dynamics and the media, they had their narrative. And I was pleased and proud to see the narrative wasn't true.
Right.
And the media? Suddenly they've got amnesia. Colorblind, tone deaf, and acting like replay footage doesn't exist. The moment Caitlin Clark gets decked, they transform into Helen Keller. No sight, no sound, no comment. ESPN turns into a ghost town with tumbleweeds rolling across the set, while yet another clip of her hitting the deck racks up millions of views. She's getting clobbered like it's a Mortal Kombat cutscene. And what's the reaction? Dead silence. Maybe a half-hearted shrug like she tripped over a shoelace instead of getting launched into orbit. The bias isn't subtle. It's screaming through the silence.
Man, they need to start finding these women, bruh. Finding them, suspending them, and make an example out of somebody, bruh. We ain't gonna tolerate this shit, homie. We not gonna be tolerating this shit right here. What's that guy's name that's getting ready to come to the NBA? The white dude, I can't think of his name right now. The rookie that's going to Dallas. I guarantee you, man, they is not going to be letting that dude get treated like Caitlin Clark, bro. And all the men in the WNBA ain't gonna be jealous and shit neither, bruh. We know what we see, bruh. The problem is this, man. A lot of people don't like Caitlin Clark, bro. They just hate the girl so much, man, that they just can't even when the truth is staring them in their face, they chose to go the other way, bruh. Now that's what you call hate.
If you want Caitlin Clark comeback, we are with you. So please leave a like and subscribe our channel and type CC comeback we are with you in comments. Blow. Now compare that to the golden days of the NBA. Michael Jordan? He got mauled like a Thanksgiving turkey on occasion. But guess what? He went to the line. There were whistles. There were consequences. You could bulldoze MJ, but you better be ready to see him smirking at the free throw line seconds later. That's how basketball used to be officiated, with actual logic. But in the WNBA, Caitlin gets body slammed, and the refs respond with the enthusiasm of a DMV worker on a Friday afternoon. And let's not pretend this is equality. If anything, this is selective blindness dressed up as empowerment. The narrative gets twisted like a pretzel at a state fair. If Caitlin reacts, she's soft. But if she doesn't, she's cold or aloof. Meanwhile, players with less talent and way more aggression get applauded for showing passion. They talk about physicality like it's a sacred ritual, a misunderstood art form, as if clotheslining someone is some noble act of resistance. It's the culture, they say, as if the culture was forged in back-alley brawls and not basketball fundamentals. Next thing you know, they'll be handing out brass knuckles at tip-off and calling it team strategy.
But with all that being said, you know, the WNBA referees has been having issues with getting these calls right when it comes to Caitlin Clark and the Fever, bruh. And I'm telling you, we have another case of that. And shout out to all the fans that, you know, put these TikToks together, put these videos together, kind of, you know, breaking down everything that has happened with the WNBA referees, because we have another game and we have another situation where WNBA referees fail to make the right calls against Caitlin Clark and the Fever. But then people want to get mad when Sophie Cunningham pretty much did what she did.
Let's just call it what it is. Some of these hard fouls would be felonies outside of an arena. If Caitlin were anyone else, there'd be panel discussions, therapist couches, and Oprah specials about protecting women in sports. But she's too successful, too popular, and way too blonde for the narrative to comfortably wrap itself around her. So instead of justice, we get glorified violence, passed off like it's just gritty defense. If physicality had a PR team, they'd be filing defamation lawsuits. And the irony? Caitlin actually embraces tough play. She's not asking for ballerina fouls and fairy dust. She wants to compete. She wants a challenge. But it's tough to compete when you're constantly playing dodgeball with other people's shoulders. It's like they skipped every basketball class and enrolled straight into How to Be Petty 101. What makes this even funnier? If your sense of humor is broken and runs on pure chaos, is that the league benefits from her pain. Every shove, every trip, every body check becomes content. Viral clips, debate shows, hashtag activism with all the depth of a kiddie pool. The league cashes in on her bruises and then tells her to walk it off.
And all the videos that everyone on social media has me watching, a lot of clips from the WNBA right now too. And it's absolutely crazy to me to see the types of fouls and the lack of calls that are having on them from these refs that the players are doing. They're just straight hacking each other. And like, we wouldn't even allow that like at our kids' games that we go to watch, let alone in the NBA. And it's just wild to me that you have somebody that took stadiums which only had like 7,000 people in them to attend live games to completely packed and tripling the ticket prices.
Meanwhile, the same media outlets who once said she was overhyped are now quietly uploading photos of her black eye for engagement. A modern sports love story. Hurt her, then profit off her recovery. And let's talk about those refs. Whew! You'd think with cameras on every inch of the court, officiating would be tighter than a conspiracy theorist's corkboard. But no, they see Caitlin flying across the baseline like she was just ejected from a cannon, and nothing. No whistle, no tech, just a gentle jog back to the other end while Caitlin peels herself off the floor like a cartoon character after getting steamrolled by a train. And when she dares to look confused or frustrated, well, here come the hot takes. She needs to calm down. She's not used to the league. She should adjust. Adjust to what? Basic laws of physics being ignored? Adjust to referees confusing the rule book with a bedtime story? Adjust to being the only player held to gladiator standards in a league trying to sell family-friendly basketball? Let's also acknowledge the elephant in the locker room, the jealousy. Oh, it's thicker than protein powder in a blender. Some players look at Caitlin and don't see an athlete. They see a walking billboard for everything they feel overlooked for. So instead of leveling up their own game, they turn her into a punching bag, both literally and metaphorically. It's not tough defense. It's performative bitterness with knee pads on.
You've been watching the WNBA, you've been watching women's basketball. You have a daughter who's currently playing college basketball for a very long time. So let's start with the most important question of the day. Glad y'all are here for this one. Are you worried about Caitlin Clark long term?
No, I am not. Every great athlete goes through this, particularly great athletes who are breaking barriers. And I think that Caitlin Clark is doing exactly that. And so I watched Steph Curry go through this. Okay, so it was ankle issues at the beginning of his career, raised some questions. He had to find a solution and fight his way through it. He wasn't getting beat up, but he was having physical issues.
And yet, even with all this mess, she keeps showing up, keeps scoring, keeps drawing crowds that wouldn't show up for their hometown parades. Caitlin doesn't just bring talent, she brings receipts. Every elbow she takes is another highlight for SportsCenter. Every silent whistle turns into another sold-out arena, and every time someone tries to humble her with a cheap shot, they just end up boosting her legend. Because here's the secret sauce nobody wants to admit. The more they try to break her, the bigger she becomes. The WNBA wanted attention, they got it. So sure, let's keep pretending this is about physicality. Let's keep watching bodies fly, fouls disappear, and media narratives do gymnastics worthy of an Olympic qualifier. Just don't act surprised when fans start asking if this is a basketball game or a reboot of American Gladiators. And when that next tough play sends Caitlin into another viral spiral, maybe, just maybe, the conversation will finally shift from "she needs to be stronger" to "why are we letting this happen in the first place?"
The Caitlin Clark effect continues to go wild. We are witnessing a cultural force that has not been seen since Tiger Woods. Let's talk about the effect her teammate has gotten over the last couple weeks. Sophie Cunningham defended her Fever teammate last week in a scuffle against the Mercury, in response to what many people would consider a bit more hazing than usual for Caitlin Clark over the last year and a half. Next, let's look at the top followed WNBA athletes in the league right now. Just in the last week since she defended her teammate, she has now gained over 1 million followers collectively. By the end of this week, she'll probably be top 4. Now, we don't have official figures for TikTok, but she is at 1.3 million followers.
And speaking of uncomfortable truths wrapped in polyester and bad calls, let's talk about the refs, the real MVPs of this circus. And by MVPs, we mean masters of vanishing penalties. Because if Caitlin Clark has the ball in her hands, apparently the rulebook takes a coffee break. The whistles? They vanish into a black hole. It's like the officials see her driving into the lane, getting mugged in 4K, and go, play on? Nothing to see here, folks. Just another Olympic-level tackle on aisle 3. It's honestly impressive at this point. We've seen more contact in Caitlin's last 10 possessions than in a whole season of hockey, and the refs are treating it like interpretive dance. But here's where things spiral into absurdity. You can't even call this incompetence anymore. It's way past that. It's strategic invisibility. If Caitlin so much as breathes near someone else, it's a foul. But if she's getting pile-driven by 3 defenders like it's a Royal Rumble, it's just aggressive defense. Oh, really? So we're doing NFL tryouts now? Are we evaluating linebackers mid-game? Is the paint secretly a UFC octagon?
You think that was dirty by Caitlin Clark? Let's start there. You think that was dirty by Caitlin Clark?
It don't matter. It was basketball. It don't matter if it was dirty or not. It was bad. I mean, we seen intentional dirty plays in both leagues. It don't even matter if it was dirty or not. It was a foul. She stopped a layup.
It was a foul. It was a good hard foul, and Caitlyn wasn't even wrong for going to defend her teammate because, you know, it was some good hard fouling going on.
Let's stop pretending this is subtle. You'd have to be either a committed hater or fully out to lunch not to see what's going on. Caitlyn isn't just getting defended, she's getting targeted, clobbered, and tossed around like a piñata at a kid's birthday party. And people are out here acting like she tripped on air or flopped for drama? Nah, this isn't acting. This is survival, and somehow she still has the gall to get up, hit a three, and run back like her spine isn't being rearranged every quarter. What's truly fascinating is the growing collection of people bending themselves into intellectual pretzels to excuse it all. She needs to be tougher. By that logic, we should just replace the hardwood with gravel and let people settle beef with folding chairs. And now into this whirlwind of chaos steps Coach Christy Sides-White, who, bless her whistle-wielding heart, has somehow accomplished the impossible. She's done what years of envy, TikTok think pieces, and drive-by fouling couldn't do. She has turned Caitlin Clark's own team into an artistic masterpiece of sabotage. Bravo, Coach. Standing ovation. You've made sure that if the refs don't ruin her game, the system around her will.
You gotta put it in perspective, right? These girls have been grinding to grow the game of basketball in the WNBA. They've been grinding to grow the sport to the world, the viewerships. They've been grinding for all of this. And then you have this girl that comes along from college and is an instant change. She's handed pretty much being the face of the league. There's going to be girls that are offended by that. And there's going to be girls that think she's got to earn it and she doesn't deserve this early. She's handled it great. I think she's performed last year. She's performing again this year. I think she's the rightful face of.
Because let's be clear, if Caitlyn's getting obliterated on every possession and you're not calling timeout, adjusting your playbook, or even blinking, then congratulations, you're not coaching, you're curating carnage. Every time Caitlyn hits the deck and there's no reaction from the bench, you can almost hear the sound of loyalty being vacuumed out of the building. It's not just tough love. It's passive-aggressive theater with sneakers and Gatorade. This isn't just bad basketball strategy. It's personal. Every other team has tried to break Caitlyn with elbows, dirty screens, and Twitter drama. But it's her own coaching staff that finally figured out the nuclear option. Do absolutely nothing? When the fouls mount like parking tickets in a no parking zone? That's when the silence becomes deafening. No outrage, no bench protest, no technical fouls called in righteous anger. Just blank stares, awkward clapping, and a vibe that screams, well, that's showbiz, kid. You can practically hear the gears turning. Maybe if we just let her get roughed up enough, she'll stop stealing the spotlight.
Dominated by black women in a black league that they want to mirror the NBA. But unfortunately, them white girls, they got an extra, they got an extra 3-point finger or something. Because this girl has done 565 games. She only played 45 games and she's one away from tying the WNBA record. WNBA record. This is her second.
But here's the kicker. This masterclass in coaching apathy is wrapped up in a nice little bow of plausible deniability. We're just developing the whole team. She has to adjust to the league. And next you'll tell us the earth is flat and fouls are a social construct, because we all saw what happened. Caitlyn was supposed to be the future, the face, the ticket seller. Instead, she's being used as a crash test dummy in a league-wide campaign of how much can she take. And let's not pretend the timing isn't suspicious. Just when Caitlyn's starting to find her rhythm, just when she's adjusting to the contact, the game gets even more absurd. Screens become body slams. Rebounds become brawls, and somehow the narrative still tries to paint her as the problem. The disrespect is so thick you could cut it with a butter knife and serve it at halftime. Meanwhile, players with half her resume and a fraction of her impact are being treated like endangered species. Don't touch them. Don't foul them. Don't even breathe on them. But Caitlyn, she's fair game. She's the walking, talking lightning rod, the scapegoat, the distraction. And now, thanks to the world's most passive bench management, she's the sacrificial lamb in a season that was supposed to be her coronation.
The way that you thank the player that is doing that is to like jab her in the eye and shove her when she's making shots and all kinds of stuff just because the refs are not good enough to call it. And it's just crazy to me. Like, instead of that, why not take it upon yourself to get better so that you can compete with her? And if you think they're competitive with her, a lot of them are not, because she's in the league already setting scoring records and assist records the very first year she's there. So obviously she's a better player than a lot of people in the league. And to take a player that is rocket shipping your sport makes absolutely no sense. And the fact that the WNBA is now only starting to step in a little bit. And
all this and still no accountability, no league statement, no referee evaluation transparency, just vibes and broken plays. Just Coach White holding a clipboard like it's a prop in a school play while her star player gets hit with more body weight than a sumo match. It's a masterclass in letting brilliance burn out while pretending you're building something. But don't worry, Coach. You've made your mark. When they write the book on how to fumble a generational talent, your chapter will be bolded, maybe even italicized. Because while every critic, rival, and bitter ex-pro tried to ruin Caitlyn's rise, you did what they never could. You neutralized her from within. With a game plan that doesn't protect her, a team that barely supports her, and a front office that pretends everything is fine while the fan base sets fire to social media. So yeah, the refs swallowed their whistles, the league looked the other way. And Coach White? She took the trophy for most subtle sabotage and ran with it. And the best part? They'll all pretend like they were just doing their jobs, while Caitlyn Clark limps off the court with another welt, another bruise, and another reminder that even brilliance needs backup. If you enjoy leaving a like and subscribing, more videos are on the screen now.